How y'all doing today, Chad? What's up? How you doing?
Oh, it's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. How's it for you?
All right, Mr. Rogers.
I'm
It's
not gonna
good.
take
It's
my
good.
shoes off though. I'm gonna leave my shoes on.
It's good. It's good. I'm gonna eat some spicy ramen and watch some movies with the wife after this.
Oh,
So
let's
I'm
go.
actually
There you
looking
go.
forward to that.
All right, all right. Excellent, excellent.
Yeah.
So today, I think you talked about just spending some time with your wife and sharing a meal with your wife. That brings us to a perfect segue for today's topic, which is the five major the main aspects that you look for when you're vetting the right type of woman for you.
Oh yeah. Oh, she's good with people. She's fiscally responsible, right? She's emotionally aware. Um, she's an aspiring homemaker, and she's a good friend. What about yourself?
Okay, all right. So I like that. I like that. I think that an important one for me is faith compatibility. I also like to notice that she's good with or loves children. Um, I like to meet somebody's parents. You get a lot of like what you have to look forward to through what their parents are. It's a good window into the future. And
Okay.
then, does she support your mission? And then, lastly, like, is she adaptable? Because everything isn't cookie cutter, so you got to be able to roll with the punches.
Facts. I like that. I like that. Well,
Hmm.
shit, let's get into it, man.
All
Let's
right.
in fact, let's pick one from your list,
Okay.
and then I'll pick one from my list, and then we'll talk about it. So you go first. You just pick one from your list. Let me get that.
All right. So let me pull a okey doke right off the jump. Like,
Okay.
this is not going to be on the list, because I think it transcends the list. It comes before the list.
You're always trying to do some extra shit.
Listen. No, this is actually the opposite of doing extra shit. This is like, if you don't take care of the fundamentals first, everything else, all the extra shit that you try to do is going to be off. If you don't take care of making sure that your antenna is properly tuned, and that means that you are going through the process of becoming the best version of yourself possible, then when your antenna is off, you're looking for all the wrong things, and guaranteed you are going to find them. And then you're going to wonder how in the hell you got into this predicament. You're going to regret it later. So take care of yourself first. Make sure that you are moving in the direction that you want to be, that you have like your long-term future in mind, and you have gone through and you said, okay, all of these little things that I'm going to do, all of these small habits are going to build bigger long-term habits, and those are going to produce the goals that I want to achieve in life. And then once you're doing that, your intuition is going to make it to where you don't even have to have a list of all this stuff. That list just comes naturally to you
Right.
because your antenna is tuned to the right frequency, and you know what you're looking for, and you know that like all those goals that you set and all those little tactics that you're going to use to get to those goals, you know that if someone's coming into that and they're interfering with those, or if they're throwing you off, or if they're supporting those, if they're helping you to achieve some of your smaller and then larger strategic goals, then you know you found somebody who's compatible. That's the best way for me.
Okay. So really, it's not about picking one of those things on the list. Really, it's about the list just evolving from who you've become.
Mm-hmm.
Is what
Mm-hmm.
you're saying.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay. All right. All right. I mean, I'll accept that. I'll accept that.
Uh,
I'm still gonna pick one from my list because I had a list.
that's good.
You know what I'm saying? Yes, self refinement is always at the top of my list, no matter what. Just from my life history, I realize that the better I am for myself, right, the better everything else around me will become, what I'll attract. So self refinement's always at the top. But for me, her being a good friend is I feel like that is an underrated thing right there. For me, when I met my wife, one, we were at a place where ideas were being tossed around. Everyone was confronting culture, all this crazy stuff. But she and we could sit for hours and just make fun of just people. We could just make fun of people for there was a day where we didn't have to yeah, like we were protesting all that shit, right? There was a day where we didn't have to do any marching, any leading of nothing. And we're sitting at this camp and our friends are like, why don't you guys just go have a day? You know what I'm saying? Go make fun of people. You guys love to do that. And that we didn't even realize that that was the thing that almost like that was our friendship hinging point, right? We looked for all of these qualities and we talked about all of these things with each other, but that one thing I feel like it transcends a lot because you're going to be spending a lot of time with the person. We're up here in the mountains. Sometimes we're snowed in and we're just home. We're just home. You're not going anywhere. And it ain't nothing worse when, you have a smaller space. You just can't just get away. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? You want to be able to spend some time with this person. I love just watching trash TV and making fun of people with her. It really does fill in those slow times. So for me, her being a good friend is important. I remember that old song. Um, I don't remember the band. I just remember them saying, "If I ever fall in love again, I'll make sure that the lady is a friend."
It's Shy, man. Come on now.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
That's my
yeah.
jam. Like
Yo,
that's
my
so
black
it's
dad
crazy that you
Carter.
say that.
Come
It's crazy that you
on.
say it. That's the song. That's the song. Like I wasn't even dating my wife yet when that song came out, but we were like, I was moving in that direction. And that was the song that like, and so actually we played. So the song that we danced to at our wedding was Together Forever by Shy, which is on that same
Okay.
album. And so it's just, yeah, it's wild that you said, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it's all about. And that was kind of my, and I've talked about this before. That was my whole MO. Like from when I was like 14 years old, I was looking for that person who I could envision as an old lady sitting on the rocker on the front porch with me. Yeah, probably making fun of people, watching our grandkids play in the yard and like,
Bullshit.
waving to, yeah, bullshitting on the front porch and waving to the neighbors as they walk by. And then I
Yeah.
don't know, maybe making fun of the way they walk behind, after they walk by. I don't know. But yeah,
That's
no,
right.
having that sort of stuff that you can, because there's a lot of times where all that other stuff breaks down. If you're looking at all these other things, we've talked about it before, people chasing lust and everything else and glamour and fame and all this glitzy stuff. When all that stuff breaks down, like that person who you can just chill with and everything's cool and you don't have to, like, y'all can eat French fries and watch some dumb show on TV and just laugh. That goes miles
That's right.
compared to, because I mean, hey, look, every every month there's a time of the month where like some of that stuff just isn't happening, you know. And so what do you do the
Right.
rend of the time,
That's right.
and then as you get older and you start having kids and everything, like there was this story, this old couple, they used to put Hershey's Kisses out in the yard for their kids to go hunt for, but then they go back in the house and everything. And one day the husband went and put him out there and everything, and he went back into the room and his wife didn't come, and he went looking for her. She was out there with the kids looking for the Hershey's Kisses, helping them find them. She's like, yeah, I'm not playing this game anymore, like, because at that point they had like 8 kids. So
Yeah.
but yeah, like, at some point the kids and just life and everything makes it to where you have to be able to, your 0 point has to be a point where like everything else fades away and you're still good.
Right. That's right. That's that's right. I agree. But I got a curveball for you.
Oh, let's go.
Okay. And the reason I didn't ask you ahead of time was because I didn't want you to have
Not
time
a
to think
curveball
about
if you told me ahead of time.
it. Yeah, yeah. It's not a curveball. Do you have a passion that is
Mm.
separate from your family, that is just about you?
Oh, that's a tough one because like I would say like I did like sports, because my wife hates sports, but I love it. Like I'm a huge Cubs fan, huge LSU, college fan, and I love like the NFL and Major League Baseball, NBA, just from the standpoint of like just seeing the best in the sports that I loved and that I played growing up, watching them play. I recognize that there's a lot of scripted nonsense and all, and letting all that stuff fade away, just like watching the best of the best
Like
compete
watching
is,
wrestling.
yeah, it's still something that is, I recognize that it's like watching wrestling, but it's still cool and it's fun and there's like some pageantry to it and everything. But both of my boys play basketball, like they're athletes, and so like it has evolved into like it's not just me, it's it's a family thing now. I do video work too. That's another thing. But then I do some of that for them and for my wife and kids and everything too. So like even that has become like a passion that I have that has evolved into something that is, you know, my family benefits from, or whatever you want to call it. So, and then the other stuff is like the stuff with Hotep Nation and all the folks that I've been able to meet through that movement. That at first I think my family was kind of like, the hell is he doing? Why is he always like, he's always watching something on YouTube or something like that. And then like, yeah. And it's just like, what do they, you know, what does all this stuff mean? And so, but then, you know, as I've broken it down and I don't know, it's become something where I think I've finally started to get them to put the pieces together that, no, this is something that's good for all of us, because the connections, the friendships, the relationships that I'm building with people provides like this place where like we can collaborate with people and we can bounce ideas off of each other, and I can learn from you, and I can give some of my experience, and then I can learn from Sonny and HJ and Unc and everybody. Like there's so many people in this spectrum of folks that we have come into contact with that we benefit from it just by being around it. So I think a lot of those things started off that way, but I can't help but have it become part of like my family's identity too. So yes and no, I guess, is the short answer to that, but I gave the long answer first.
Okay.
How about you?
Well, I mean, I do right now. I don't know if my passion will evolve into something. I mean, as I listen to you explain it, I kind of think about how my passion, my fitness passion, could become something that I eventually share with my daughter, right? You know, if that's something that she loves or is interested in, then even if that's not her passion, hey, I'm going to share it with her. So from that perspective, I could see how something that was solely yours could evolve. Because right now, I see it as something that just belongs to me, something that I use kind of to, you know, to walk up onto the top of my own mountain and listen to silence. You know what I mean? I do think that young men, you know, I think you should have a passion, something you're passionate about before you are in a relationship, and for as long as you're able to maintain it, or you know, as long as that, you know, if it changes, then obviously, you know, passions change. But I do think it's important to have an individual drive to do something that makes you better to some degree. It could be writing or reading. But again, I mean, yeah, I'm only in the beginning of this as a father, so there's definitely a possibility that anything that I'm passionate about is going to be shared. I mean, they're all good things for me, so they're going to have to be shared at some point. You know? So yeah, actually, now that I think about it, you know, I kind of vibe with what you said.
Yeah, well, I mean, you kind of talked about that last time or time before, that like even like with your wife, that there's some of the stuff with the fitness thing that she has taken on in her own way. You know, that it's a different. You've got a different I don't know, different result that you're looking for
Right.
from the competition standpoint and everything else, and plus like just the female looking to have that type of physique is more rare than a male trying to have that physique. You know what I'm saying? Like there are still women who do it, but I don't know. Thankfully I don't. I'm not in love with one of them, because I don't know about that. Like it's just that's not my style.
I wouldn't want it.
The hulked out woman is not my type. You know,
but I wouldn't want it. Just not even from that perspective, what you just said, but just from the fact that I don't know if I could put up with myself, you know, being like, you know, I'm meal particular. I'm measuring shit out all the time. You know what I'm saying? I'm always writing workouts. I'm posing and stuff. I'm doing all of this stuff I'm talking about. Like, I don't know if I could deal with me doing,
Yeah,
you know what I'm
with
saying?
her
I don't think I could.
doing the same stuff that you're doing. Yeah, yeah, I feel you.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah. You know, she likes yoga. That's a threshold that I'm willing to fulfill listening to. But if she wanted to be a bodybuilder, then she's gonna be just as in her head as I am, and
mhm,
that's not gonna work for the both. You know, we're not gonna communicate a lot if we're both
right,
thinking about the next program we're gonna run or something like that. So
right, right.
I'm glad that we don't share that, to
Yeah,
be
so
honest.
sometimes it's good to have like those common interests, but it's also good to have that yin yang sort of, that opposites attract type of
Yeah.
relationship. But I will say this, like with my kids, with my boys, with the basketball thing. So this is what was weird about it. This is why I think, to your point, it's probably a little too early to tell because your daughter's 3, or
She's gonna be 3 this year. Right
she's
now,
going to be
she's 2.
3. Okay,
Yeah, she'll
she's
be
2
3 in
right now.
August.
Yeah. So see what I'm saying? Like, so it's early. I remember, like, when my kids were old enough to like kind of get a little ticked off and to let me know about it, they were just like, "Daddy, why are you always watching football or something like that?" And I was like, "Okay, point taken. I'll cool off and like, all right, what do you want to do? Let's go. You want to go do something? Let's go do whatever." Um, but then there was one day, my son was like, he was probably like 9 years old. And I'm watching a game, and like LSU's playing against Arkansas, and Keith Hornsby hits a 3 from the corner at the buzzer to win the game. And before I can even like, get excited about it or anything like that, I hear my son from behind me like, yeah, like that. And I was like, oh shit, you were watching? Okay. You down like that? Okay. And then like next thing you know, like he and my youngest one are out, in the driveway, and they're putting up shots, and so I was like, all right, y'all serious about this? That's what you're gonna have to do. You got to develop your left hand. You got to do like all this stuff. So we started grinding at that point, and then it became a passion for them to where they're both like, my youngest one now, like my oldest one's a senior, and like this, he's got like a few weeks left of his high school career left, and then we don't know, beyond that where it's going to go. But the youngest one is like, he went the other day, and like he didn't break into the gym, but he like got like the girls coach to let him into one of the gyms,
Okay.
and like gave him the keys and everything, and he got the gun out, and I think he shot like 500 shots by himself in the gym, like he's 14. So it's like, that kind of stuff where it's like, all right, like sometimes it just happens, and it starts to
Yeah.
grow at a rate and from a place that you didn't expect. So that's why I'm saying it's probably a little too early to tell with your daughter,
Yeah.
but
That's right.
she'll probably pick up a little something of it.
She's mad dramatic. She might end up acting.
There you go. There you go. Well, she'll see you
My,
posing and everything, and she'll be like, "That's what she'll take from it." She'll be like,
she
she'll be
calls it
in front of
stronging.
stronging.
Yeah, I never heard her say that, and I was like
That is
posing,
awesome.
and she said, "Daddy, stronging," and I was like, "Oh, that's real cute, man. That's
That's
real
actually perfect. That's actually a
yeah."
perfect way
What
for her to describe it.
whatever she loves, I'm gonna just dive right into it. She wants to be
That's
a
it.
violinist. Well,
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna do violin, and then she's like, "I'm done violin. I want to do this." Then we're gonna do that
Mm-hmm.
until she lands on something that she just absolutely loves, or she just chooses to do it all. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah.
Time will tell. Maybe it'll be like robot engineering or some shit, and then I'm
Hey,
gonna have to
there you
learn
go. There you
how
go.
to be.
Well, and that's the thing. So it was tough because like I noticed when I was growing up, they had those kids who you could tell their parents were living vicariously through them, and that they weren't really into it. They were just being pushed beyond their limit, and that they were not really feeling it. There she is. She heard you talking about her.
Hey, girl.
But I was always really careful to not push my boys or my daughter even into doing anything. Hey, look at you.
She has to be seen, otherwise she's
There you
just.
go. Right. But balancing that between like, okay, so, but what I am going to do is I'm going to make sure that if you say that you want to do something and you're really, really gung ho about it, I'm going to give you every opportunity to succeed at it. I'm not going to be
Right.
an obstacle to that for you.
Right.
Um, but what I am going to push you on is if you commit at the start of a season, there is no way in hell you're quitting until that season's over with. You committed to a team, you committed to your teammates, to your coach and everything. and because they know they've seen it with some of their teammates before who've like bailed on them in the middle of the season or anything like that. And so it's just, and I mean, at this point, there's no way they would do that anyway. But it's starting off, it was like, okay, we're not going to do this wishy-washy. I'm going to do this for 3 weeks, then I'm going to do this for 3 weeks, then I'm just going to switch over. No, you're going to find something, and when you're committed to it, I'll give you all the resources you need. She's so it's going to be black dad, black dad, black daughter, white dad. I'm gonna have to get my daughter in here, something like that to balance it out. No, but this is awesome. But yeah, that's you're right on with that. Like whatever she decides that she wants to commit to, you got to pour into it.
That's right. Well, my mom did that when I went to live with her on the military base, and I told her I wanted to skateboard. The next day, she had a skateboard. She had two skate VHSs. You know what I'm saying? My favorite skate videos to this very day.
That's right. Awesome.
She just poured all the way into that, and I mean, I skated so long that I tattooed Thrasher on my chest. So I skate to this day. So
there you go.
You just got to pour into whatever they love, as long as it's constructive.
Right. Absolutely.
So listen, the only reason I decided to keep our list short was because HJ on the last Grip Report was like, I think I'm gonna do a video about how to vet a woman, and I realized something here. We're all like within Hotep Nation, we're all so in tune that a lot of times we often think of and say the same exact stuff at the same time. It seems like on any given day, I'll see at the same hour, all of us say something eerily similar. And so naturally, he was going to decide to make that a video since he had been having this discussion. We've been having this discussion, right? So that's why I decided to keep our list short.
There you go.
He's HJ's bougie, so we know he's probably going to have a bougie list. So really, me and you probably covered the things that the common man is looking for.
Listen, this man wrote on this website on Men of Order wrote a thing saying something about like if you pay less than $1,000 for a date, it's not the right kind of. I'm like, get the hell out of here, man! Come on, man. So you want to talk about bougie? Yes. You're talking about flying somebody to France or something like that just to make sure it's worth the. I'm like, man, I'm glad I met my wife when I did.
Well, if that floats your boat, if that's what you want, you know what I'm saying? I'm more of a go for a walk in the park or a calm mountain hike type of dude.
There you go.
But it is what it is, but whatever floats your boat.
That's right. I mean, I see where he was going with it. Like he was just basically saying like, make it so like extra that like you're only going to bring the best possible woman on that date. And I get it, but like I can have a high threshold and not spend that kind of money. I can have the best of both worlds.
Exactly. You can be broken. You shouldn't be broke.
You shouldn't be broke,
but you can be.
Yeah,
you can be.
But here's the thing: like, if you're one of the paths to not being broke is not blowing all your money on some bullshit dates.
Exactly. And if you got a good list, then you might not even have to worry about that.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
hell. She might say, "Let me cook for you." You know what I'm saying?
Not a winner.
Not a winner.
Now listen. If you got like a really long list and she checks off everything on the list, she might be crazy. So
yeah.
Some of those things she can't check off. Not the whole list can't just be a go because something.
If it sounds like she read the list before she met you,
you better run.
You might have a stalker on your hands. That's right.
She's gonna burn your Nikes.
But that's why I go back to what was my number one. It was make sure you know how to sniff that shit out.
Right. That's right.
Because if you don't know and you're chasing these other things, because a lot of people can fake it. They can fake like, oh no, I know how to cook. I can do all this stuff. Oh look, I have my own little side hustles and all this stuff. Like I got money. Okay, cool. So you could go through all these different things, but then there's just that little something that tells you, ding, 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 spidey sense is going off. Something's off here.
That's right.
That's why you got to have your mantenna
You got to
attuned.
develop your own spider sense.
That's right. That's right.
Right. Well, all right, man. I feel like we had a good one.
Yes, indeed.
Hey, y'all. Much love. Peace.
Peace, y'all. See y'all next time.